Residents. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I have to smile inside every time because as principal, when I would have a meeting, a school meeting or something, and I would say, good afternoon, good morning, it was always, good afternoon, Mrs. McElroy. And I keep waiting for that. Please don't do it. Don't do it.
Next month.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
You open the door to the den.
Oh, it's like the little boy who couldn't, he was a little second grader, couldn't pronounce McElroy, and I was a new teacher. Am I going to blow up?
Not me.
Okay. And I thought it would help to say it's like macaroni. No. I mean, those are the mistakes you make as a new teacher. And that's all he could call me then. So, anyhow, that's besides the point. New life here. First thing, Karen and I talked about something to say about name tags. And we have some of our snowbirds are back, so they don't know any of this stuff. They're newbies here. So at our wine and cheese, we've been using name tags that have been very beneficial, and we appreciate your willingness to do this, especially people who've been here a long time. But for new people, it's very helpful for them to put a name and a face together, and they just don't feel like they're a sore thumb sticking out, they don't know anybody. So it's really helpful. Now, that being said, we are having a bit of a problem. We are missing several, about, I think, 20, Karen?
Over 25.
25, okay. Now, I know there are sometimes special situations. I understand Nikolai has to keep his at home beside his bed. So when he wakes up in the morning, he looks at the name tag. It sets him off right for the day. But for most of us, that's not the case. So if by chance you find a name tag in your laundry, in a drawer somewhere, just in a dryer, wherever, just bring it to the front desk, all right? And we'll take care of it. Sometimes the backs go missing. If you have a magnetic one, the back falls down in your underwear. And we don't search for that. So we're missing some backs. So if you have any of that, turn it in to the front desk. We do think we might start transitioning to just clip on for everybody. Because when you have a turtleneck or, we're finding that's more difficult than we thought it would be. So, anyhow, that's it about name tags. Okay, so now to introduce new residents, and I'm not sure they are all here. I know one is, yes, but some of the others might not be. I called to remind them, but we're going to go ahead with this. So, Ray and Mary Garthner, I don't think I saw them. Okay, Ray and Mary, but I'm going to tell you about them anyhow. Ray and Mary have been here probably about 2 months now. So a lot of you have had dinner with them. I've seen you, meeting them. They've been at some of our classes. Mary grew up in Del Mar. She and Ray lived there about 25 years. They moved then to a condo for about 14 years. They lived there, then came to Beverwick. So they are, I see them around and about. So, here comes one now. Okay. But I also know that he had a doctor's appointment yesterday, so he may not, they may not be here for that. Eva. Is Eva here? Okay. Okay. Eva Carlson. And I know a lot of you. Oh, there she is. Did you just come in? Okay, good. Stand up, Eva. Don't sit down. Stand up. Did you see Eva? She's just briefly stood. Very briefly. I was going to say she has white hair, but that doesn't help you at all. Before living, oh Lord, I lost my notes here. Before living in the Albany area, she and her husband Charlie lived many places: Wisconsin, New Jersey, New York, England for a while. She has a background in nursing. She and Charlie did lots of traveling. They had really a very interesting life. So if you're eating dinner with her, just ask her about some of these things. And a nice thing for her is that she and Charlie have some longtime friends who are here at Beverwyck. Names that are going to be familiar to you, like Sally and Ted Jennings, and Rachel and Dwight Smith. They did lots of traveling together and just have lots of good memories. My parents always told me, be careful of your friends, because that sort of, you know how that is. Your friends give you an indication of what they're like. We know Rachel is questionable here, but nonetheless, questionable, but we're going to trust Eva on her judgment. Now, Ellen, would you stand up for us, Ellen? This is Ellen Jabor. She's in the south wing. As a matter of fact, Ellen's in our old apartment. It was so fun to go back and, so it's really nice. Well, Ellen had moved in right before Christmas, like 2 days. And so Ann Brewster is her greeter. So Ann said, oh, she's here. And then all of a sudden, Ellen left. And she was in Florida for a while. So we kept waiting for her to return. So anyhow, Ellen is back. The interesting thing, Ellen was born in Denmark, which I find that fascinating. She was trained as a nurse, I'm not going to get this word out, anesthetist. You know what I'm trying to say. All right. She was, as a young woman, she was encouraged to come to the United States by her friends, so she did. While here, she met her husband. They had an interesting life together. Between their work schedules, they loved traveling. Ellen is certainly someone who believes in giving back to the community. She continues to be active in cultural organization, and she still remains on the board of, I believe, 3 organizations here in Albany. And she's an avid bridge player. So all of you bridge people, look out, all right? So we welcome Ellen here. We're glad she's with us. And last but not least is Jim Morris. Jim, I think I saw you sneak in. Oh, he's way in the back. Do you want to stand or do you just want to wave at us? All right, there's, thank you, Jim. Before retiring, Jim lived in Del Mar. He's worked for the state. And Jim, did you tell me you lived at the Spiny for a bit, or did I dream that? You did, okay. Before coming here to Beverwyck, which he thought would be a good fit for his life. As I talked with him, I found him to be confident, very dignified, very independent, and very much a gentleman. I told Jim recently, I love his sense of humor, and I'm going to share this with you, and I hope, Jim, you don't mind if I share this. When I stopped by to visit him, which I try to do for new people, just to welcome them, and I try to be upbeat and positive about Beverwyck, but try to solve any problems that may come up. So we had a lovely visit, and as I was getting ready to leave, there was a knock at the door, and Jim went over to answer the door, and there was Helen Barber. And Helen Barber, in a very upbeat, positive way, introduced herself and welcomed Jim to Beverwyck and told him about an event that would be happening later in the day, and that all residents were welcome and he would be welcome to attend with us. It was very nice. And so he thanked her very sweetly, and she left, closed the door, and Jim turned to me and he said, "Is everyone here at Beverwyck effervescent?" I love that. I've been picturing myself as a glass of ginger ale ever since that. But I said, no, we're not all effervescent here. For sure, we're not. But I do say, not only to Jim, but everybody here, especially to our newer people, there is an atmosphere and a climate that I think has been here probably since the beginning of Beverwick, I think. And we all contribute to that by being people who are friendly and respectful, positive, and caring. And you know what I'm going to say next. We call that the Beverwick way. Good for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Doubleday, are you ready? Are you from there? Or are you coming up here?
We're coming up there.
All right. We need an update on the ABC Railroad.
Yep.
Wonder how your stock is doing.
How do I get out
The
of here?
ABC Railroad stock. I hope it's surviving.
That was my clock. That was on his computer. See what happens. Don't have anything there,
I know, here, let's try,
Yeah, you lost your clock again.
here, you take the
Yeah.
mic.
Here we go.
That's on. Oh, wait. It's gonna come. There we go.
Believe it or not, that's a clock. It's nothing to do with the railroad. Hi, my name is Larry Doubleday. I am not selling stock, I'm not buying stock, I'm not doing anything with any stock, they just do this. However, I will try to get through this fairly quickly.
Use the mic. Yeah.
Okay, hold the mic here, she says.
Thank you.
There you go.
There we go. Let me turn these lights down.
Terry, can you hit those? First two on the left? Thank you.
Good. ABC Railroad, Albany, Beverwick.
Hold it up
Colesville.
to your mouth.
Albany, Beverwick, and Colesville Railroad. Even have cabooses and so on. We went on a funding drive last year, and the donations exceeded expectations, with 40 to 50 people donating money, equipment, talent, and so on. So that's given us a good start for this coming Christmas. And we do thank all of you that contributed and are still continuing to contribute. And obviously, toot toot and all aboard. Some people have asked what the vision is of this group. It's a group of about 15, 20 men in one role or another in this, and a couple of women. But I don't know why, but there's none of those calendars on the wall that keep the women away, so a lot of work. Vision. Basically, it's just what it says here. It's a continuation of a tradition here at Beverwick. It's been enjoyed by everyone, particularly grandkids. And we're looking to set it up so that it'll go another 25 or 30 years. We ran the last period, the initial period, the past, some of the principal people graduated from Beverwick, and Todd Wing managed to keep it running. And so we got some fellows together, set it up again, and it's running poorly. So a few of us now are trying to make it work perfectly. This is a video going to run in the background here. Well, I have a few comments.
It's a big thing here.
Now, you'll notice that one of the tracks is not running. There's a train derailed on it. And that's very commonplace with the old system. And we found out what was wrong. It was the track and couplers and the rolling stock. Well, that's what we're working on. We being a historian, a videographer, a banker, treasurer, track layer, a scenery aficionado, and a jack of all trades and an organizer. And a dozen other people filling in where necessary. What started the current activity? That group of men I just mentioned. Essentially, we've got assets in terms of old engines, old rolling stock. We have lots of track, old track that we're going to donate or sell. And we have new track, newly laid. We have a hodgepodge of couplers. Work on that scheduled for this summer and this fall. And we have a manifest scenery available. You can see some of it here. Most of it is not to scale. The scale of HO, which is the scale of this railroad, is 1/87. In other words, if I'm 6 feet tall, I'd be a little less than an inch tall on the table with the trains. We have a very large stable table, which is very heavy, and that has been changed so that it's changed in the way in which it's handled. And so that the track essentially is not seeing wear and tear in the movement of it. All of this goes back to the infrastructure, so to speak. A lot of its work is being done that is not visible. The emphasis that we have is going to be on the rolling stock and the couplers, and closer to scale for the scenery. That's going to be done piecemeal as we find pieces and want to replace pieces. 2/3 of this, if not more, is not truly to HO scale. And when I talk scale, we're also talking about scale in time. Railroads, you could have a model railroad that is one of the first ones from 1835, the old Tom Thumb and so on. Or you could have bullet trains, or you could have fully electric, overhead electric. We're going to focus on the mid-1950s, but in a broad sense. Steam engines and diesel electrics. The group that we have is quite an interesting group, very energetic, very enthused. And if we get 10 people together, we obviously have 12 opinions. But that's working out very well. A little difference provides for some creativity. What you're seeing here is the old system. I won't run that again because it'll just show the derailment. What I will say though is that toot 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 and all aboard.
Oh, don't trip here.
Nope.
We'll go low.
Yep.
I feel I should explain about the stock. So I got a message one day, Mr. Doubleday is coming to your office to talk about investing in some ABC railroad stock. And I said, well, this is interesting. This will be an interesting meeting. So who knew back then it probably would have been the safest stock I could have put money into. But anyway, next up we have John Burrell, I believe, correct? Is he here?
Yeah.
Okay.
you. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. My voice is gone today, but some days it's here and some days it's not. What can I say? My purpose in being here, and it's an honor for me, is I'm going to give you some information about the election that's coming up of the council, the executive council. So you will be electing a new residence council on May 22nd. And this is a big event. I have served as chair of the nominations committee after filling in for Harriet DeGraff, who we lost last year and who had served with love and distinction as a volunteer many times at Beverwick. So I want to give big thanks to our stellar nominations committee, who all stepped up on instantaneous notice several times over to bring you a slate of candidates. Would the committee members, if they're here, please stand? Bill Hetzer, Maxine Matiski. Okay, Lois Waters. Hi, Lois. Thank you. And Todd Wing. Thank you. Thank you all. Three members of the council will be finishing their 2-year terms in May. They are Marilyn Conoscenti, the chair, Helen Barber, and myself. 3 council members will begin the 2nd year of the term in June. And I'd like them to stand up. Karen Green, if she's here, Linda McElroy, and Kate Storms. Thank you. One other person, Arnie Prindle, has graciously volunteered and has been appointed by the council to complete the 2nd year of the term of Jim Smith, who has just transferred to another residence. Would you please stand, Arnie, and introduce yourself if you would like?
Thanks, John, very much. I appreciate that. And I worked many years with Paula and with Kathy on a lot of tech matters, answering tech calls and things like that. And so looking forward to working with you guys again. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm even willing to take time out of the new duties involving the Beverwick Beer Club. I'll explain it later.
Okay.
And I'll be happy to explain that to anybody. John, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Arnie.
Say no to.
Thank you very much. So, last but not least, and I hope they're here, we would like to introduce you to our slate of 3 candidates for election on May 22nd. These are fellow residents who have stepped forward and offered their services to the Residents' Council or the community after meeting with the nominations committee. We are encouraged and inspired by their willingness to volunteer their time and energy and their voices to this community. As one member said, the Beverwick community has given him much, and he feels a responsibility to give back. So I would ask the following candidates to stop and say a few words about yourself. And I'll begin with Chandley Gill.
Thank you. I've lived here almost 5 years. We moved in at the beginning of COVID, and if any of you were here at the beginning of COVID, you know how everything shut down and how different it was to move in. But much earlier, I lived at Beechwood up in Troy, across from Samaritan Hospital. It's one of the Eddy communities too. So while I was there, I was on a board there. And I realized the boards are a little different, but I thought it was time that maybe I should say I'd like to do it here. Now everybody wonders about my name. It's Chandley. It's a family name, my mother's best friend, high school friend. And if you Google it, you'll find that there are people in the United States with the last name of Chandley. When I moved here, I moved into an apartment. I moved here because I had become a relationship partner with Jim Miller, but we were not moving in with each other. He moved into a cottage and I moved in over here. We didn't want to do the 14-mile drive between Beechwood and Slingerlands. It takes quite a while, and in winter it wasn't going to be any fun. So here I am, but last year Jim was not very well, and he got 2 clips in his mitral valve. But before that, I wanted to be there to be with him, so I moved over to a cottage. So I'm one of those people who did the reverse move. I went from an apartment to a cottage rather than a cottage to an apartment. We're traveling less, and so I thought maybe it's time to give something back to Beverwyck. Thank you.
Thank you, Chandler. That was great. I appreciate that. Is Jack Coleman here? Here, there we. And it's John Coleman, but to us it's Jack Coleman. And he's been our big storyteller, so you all know him.
Yeah, Jack Coleman, my wife and I, Verna, I've been here 2 years, almost exactly. When John called me, I put him on the speakerphone, and Verna was sitting next to me, and when we both heard what John was asking me to do, I looked at Verna and she shook her head, yeah. Okay. Anyway, in spite of that, I felt honored to be asked, and I do have a sense of duty and obligation, all right, to Beverwyck, to the staff, and to the residents here, to contribute. There's no reason why I should not. I'm, healthy and physically able to. So I'm looking forward to, participating. I understand it's a new function, safety and security.
Well, that's one of the committees that's new on the.
Yeah, so I have to create something that didn't exist before, but I've done that before in my Air Force career. So I'm looking forward to it. And unlike somebody who once said, if nominated, I will not serve. If elected, I will not run. I will, if nominated, serve. If elected, serve. So thank you, and we'll see where this goes from here.
Thank you, Jack. And finally, I would like to ask Linda LeClaire. Oh, here she is. Thank you, Linda LeClaire. Thank you so much. She's so busy around here, but she's coming to work with you all.
Thank you, John. Many of you know me because I've stood up here at previous town meetings and said, hello, everybody. There's an Ideas Today meeting tonight, and our speaker is, and then I proceed to introduce the speaker. Tonight it will be Travis Broadbeck from the Siena College Research Institute talking about polling. So I hope you come for that. My background, I worked for several different state agencies. It's what I've called, as many of you know, my checkered career. I worked at the Department of Civil Service. I worked at the Budget Division. I worked at the Health Department. And all of those jobs involved negotiating with, in some cases, the state legislature and their committees at 2 o'clock in the morning. That was exciting. Since we've retired, Jim and I did a lot of traveling. We've come to Beverwyck because, as many people here have, we decided we did not want to do any more maintenance on a house. So we picked Beverwyck because of the variety of activities that we saw available, the friendliness of people here, and wasn't here very long before I started getting involved in also getting that respiratory thing that went around, my voice is going. But in any case, I have been working with Ideas Today for almost the entire time we've been here. with the poetry group, with several other things that are managed by residents, and the enthusiasm of people here has just been inspiring. And I would like to, I think, draw on that, listen to people, hear what you have to say, and continue the vitality of this place. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Linda. So as you see, we have a very strong Residents Council coming up for you all. And it's been a pleasure working with them all. So the vote for the new council will take place at the town hall meeting on May 22nd. Unless any other persons come forward before April 30th, the vote will be by acclamation. There will be no balloting necessary. So that's it for today. Thank you all.
Okay. All right, and I definitely wanted to thank the work of the nominating committee. Each year, the council that we have is really, it's a good representation of Beverwyck, I think. And, that's to the work of the nominating committee and deciding, who to reach out to and who to bring forth. And also want to thank, the current resident council, past resident council, future resident council, because it's a monthly meeting, but it's also, you're the person that the residents are going to go to when there's a concern and, to bring back. So it's something that I certainly find invaluable. And I know when I talk to my colleagues at the other places, some of them have let their resident council go and they don't have that anymore. So I think it really helps because we've mentioned the Beverwyck Way, and I think that involves all of us to sustain that and keep that. So I really do appreciate the work of the resident council. And like I said, it's just so valuable to me in my position and to all of the staff to really have that exchange and those meetings. So thank you. Next, Terry has a few announcements.
Hi. Happy Wednesday. Just a couple of announcements, just to keep you updated on a few things that are going to be happening. So the first Nature Walkers event, which is usually the second Tuesday of the month, had to be switched because of the weather. So that's actually going to be this next Tuesday, April 22nd. It's at the Tui Preserve. So if you weren't able to go on the 8th, but you're able to go on the 22nd, you can sign up at the front desk. Also, Friday next week, April 25th, is our Step into Spring event here at Beverwyck. I'm very excited. I'm really nervous. I'm hoping I get it all together. But I've been kind of going through a few things, and we could use a few more volunteers. It looks like for our nursing home, we'll need about 5 volunteers to help maybe guide some of the residents through the walk, and maybe 3 volunteers for the terrace for our assisted living. I do have a few people who have already offered to do that, but I could use a couple more volunteers. If anyone is interested, just let me know. Also, Saturday, May 10th, is our first golf putting tournament hosted by Bill Hetzer, John Burrell, and Nick Nicolai. It's almost full. There are 20 participants spaces available. We have 18 filled. So if you are interested in being part of that golf putting tournament, please go to the front desk, sign up as quickly as you can. It starts at 10 a.m. There's going to be prizes. It's going to be a great day. And if you like golfing, it's a great way to get started for the season. So I hope to see you there, and I thank you so much.
All right.
Hi. Fred from Maintenance. I just wanted to go over a few things. The first thing I was going to address is the work order system. Now, the work order system, we're trying to keep it at a better response. Our guys try to contact you the same day the work orders come in. However, we do have a policy of 24 hours. So within 24 hours, the maintenance staff will try to get back to you on a work order. Now, that also has different rules. For instance, on a Friday, of course, afternoon, if it comes in at 1 o'clock, it may be addressed that day, but I can't guarantee it because of the fact that if it's in the wintertime, they're trying to get things ready for the winter snow that might happen a weekend. In the summertime, of course, everybody likes to take off. The second thing is that if it falls in on a Saturday or a Friday, then it would go to Monday, only because I don't have staff on the weekends. We try to get everything done within a 72-hour period. However, because of ordering parts or stuff like that, this could delay, and especially ever since COVID, everything is still trying to catch up. And now with the other things that are going on with the government, it could also be on delays on certain things. Currently, as we do records, this is just for the month of March. There's 33 pages here, and there's about 8 work orders on a page. So the guys, and with this, we monitor how long it takes to go, how many days it takes to complete. It's very important that we do put work orders in, and the guys can help or anybody can assist you to make sure they all go in properly. Because we try to monitor it, Paula tries to monitor it, the administration does, so that we can know that our guys are being efficient and how to help you guys get the better results that you guys will be happy with. On this, we also, it tracks days and stuff like that, so we know how many days it takes. Granted, in the past, there's been things that we're trying to improve on. If you got any questions, just let me know, and we'll try to go. Currently, if you go by just today, we have 30 work orders open, but 16 are on delay because of materials. So, and the other, I think 10 are because people, and sometimes people aren't there. So it could delay it because we had a case where somebody put it in before they went on vacation and then said that we can't come in until they get back. So of course that puts into our numbers delays and stuff like that. Any questions on work orders? Yes.
Yeah, do you have any system for filtering out things which are relatively easy to do, but maybe emergencies?
Unfortunately, it comes in and we,
people who maybe without any water, for example.
well, water we do as best as we can, and on a water case, but on emergency, we have emergency staff for the weekend, so the guys will come in on a weekend to take care of any emergencies that do come in.
Security.
So security usually calls,
They came up
and
a flood.
we contact, and security calls maintenance staff, which comes in, or housekeeping comes in to take care of like a
Yeah,
flood.
they took care of it, but I just wondered, because sometimes I think would be easy to fix, but it would be very uncomfortable. There are other things that I know will take a longer time, so I just wondered whether you look at them and say, oh my goodness, this could be done in 10 minutes. And
We do look at those things, and sometimes, so like on a Monday morning, when it comes time for us to come in, the ones that are emergency, we send to the guys really like right off the bat.
That's what I guess.
If it's to change a light bulb or something like that, they do it on the route to doing it.
Yeah.
If it happens to be something that, putting together a piece of furniture, it could get delayed because that's not an
Well,
emergency.
that's not an emergency. So.
Yeah, so we do take it and we do classify different, there's also on the app for your work order, it says whether or not it's emergency or a non-emergency. So you can put those things in too.
I usually would put them in writing. Somehow, when I try to do them on the app, they disappear.
Well, yeah. And it does that too. Sometimes we get answers for second requests and they weren't there, so. We're also trying to delay as many second requests as we can. We try to get to it, and sometimes the guys try to get back to you, but they are supposed to get back to you. And we also are trying to get them so that if it's delayed, we keep you contact that we are working on it. So that you're not sitting there thinking that we're forgetting about you, and we try not to. Anything else? The second thing I was going to address up here is, of course, now that spring is here and the weather's getting beautiful, as you can see, the landscapers have started outside. Now, the landscaping is a new company this year. It's Galavan who is doing it. They're trying to get the best. They're doing the spring cleanup at this time, and they're trying to stay with the spring cleanup. If you have any questions for Galavan, please don't address it to them and let me or Mike know. And the reason for that is because they're getting instructions from their guy, the owner, to do certain things, and if residents walk up and ask them for other things, it kind of confuses them. And it makes it very hard for them to stay on contract, which they're doing. We also have a contract agreement with them on doing certain things at certain times. So therefore, they're only, they're here to do a certain thing on one day, and the next day it could be like pruning, could be down the road on another day. So we appreciate, but if you have any concerns, if you want your bed saved, I do have the bloomer signs. We do put orange flags up, and we try to let them know that the orange flags are not to be touched and to go into your personal garden. We did have an incident where they did, but we did address it the next, as soon as we talked to them right away and found out about it. So there is some things that could be, but we gotta know about it so we can address these things. If it doesn't go back to me or Mike, it's kind of hard for us to fix problems. Anything?
Fred?
Yes, sorry.
When do you expect to turn on the fountain in the retention pond?
Mike is working on it right now. We have, the plug is broken on it. It is on order, so as soon as it comes in, we'll be getting that into the pond. It is sitting in the middle of the shop on the floor and all in pieces. But we do have the part ordered, and as soon as we get it, we'll get it in there.
Thank you.
He wanted it in a week, 2 weeks ago, I think he was gonna put it in. Yes.
I would like to make an announcement. Gloria and I are presidents of the Bloomers. Most of you know that the Bloomers is a resident organization of volunteers that help with the grounds. We are going to have a meeting on May 7th. It will be in the bulletin, but I wanted to mention it now since everybody's here, and hope you all will come. It's Wednesday, May 7th at 3 o'clock, and Fred will be there.
Yeah, and I'll be there, and anything that you guys, if you think of any questions, bring it into them, or like I said, you can also address with them on situations, because they get back to me right away. And they email me, or they talk to me, they come down to my office, and I try to address as much as I can. So, by all means, they are another contact that you guys have to get a hold of us. All right?
I think too, and we had an initial meeting as well, and I think the important thing with the bloomers and the bloomers gardens, or even personal gardens, is making sure that they're identified, that it's not, and we do have things where we can identify it, it's a bloomer's garden, because if not, Beverwick's gonna assume it's our garden. And if it's not something that we're keeping up with, or we don't wanna pull somebody's plants or anything, but and if you want to plant something somewhere, then we just need to know, we need to identify those areas that this is not Beverwick's responsibility for upkeep. This is the resident who identified they want to do that. Does that make sense? Because we've run into that in the past. It's not identified, something happens to the area. So and then also if it's if it is Beverwick's garden or Beverwick's responsibility, we should be handling that. We should be doing the pruning, we should be taking care of that as well too. So the reverse would be true as well.
And I do have the signs in my office, and actually I dropped her off today at a couple of people's places.
Okay. Thanks, Fred. So, what Fred mentioned was part of what we were looking at in response to the resident survey. A lot of the questions for maintenance, they were the work orders, so this is in response in developing a work plan. And that's what we really look at. The one thing we don't want to see is second request. So as much as you probably hate sending it, we hate seeing it as well. So we don't want to, we want to avoid that situation, because a second request is, we haven't gotten back to you and we haven't communicated timely. So that's something that we're trying to work on. So each week we're reviewing the work orders. Fred will bring them all up to me and I'll say, okay, this one was on last week. Why is it still on here? And then we'll say, okay, did anybody call Mr. Doubleday and tell him the railroad part isn't in yet? Or, so that's something that, we're trying to catch in a timely manner. I realize that we can do a better job at that. So that's why we're working on it. And then just really in general, the response time is pretty good for probably 95% of the things that happen and go on. And the amount of work orders that they get, that would be something that would probably be, to even just say the amount you get in a month and a quarter, and then how many are responded to in a certain amount. So it is really, it's a good percentage, but
It's a good percentage.
Yep,
I mean,
but
like I
just
said,
taking care.
this is 33 pages long, and that's just the month of March.
Yep. Okay, moving on. So you may have seen the mobile banking here today. So we are gonna have SEFQ mobile banking that is here, what is it, the first?
Every Wednesday, 9 to 11,
Every Wednesday, not monthly, weekly.
weekly.
Weekly. So every Wednesday, 9 to 11, SEFQ is gonna have a mobile branch here. They were parked out front. So this is to help with, we stopped doing check cashing. So this is kind of a intermediate response. They can do anything at that mobile branch that they can do in the bank. So even if you wanted to open an account with SEFQ, you can go down there. They have an ATM. Broadview, I'm sorry.
Broadview.
Was I saying SEFQ? Okay, Broadview, sorry. So anything that you could do at a SEFQ branch, you can do at that. Broadview, got it. All right. So Broadview will be there, and they have an ATM. Yes. Yep. So that will be helpful. So please take advantage. Obviously, the more use they get, the more success we're going to have with them coming back. And we're going to touch base with them. I think we were going to give it a good 6 weeks and see what our usage was. They're coming at no cost to us, so that's helpful. All right, photo directories. So typically we put those out in June, and then by June 15th, it's out of date. So we were talking about it. We've decided to not mass produce those in June anymore, simply because of that, because it is out of date. We can always print a photo directory if you want. We always have them. So we always updated them on the computer. So if you wanted an updated copy at any time, you can ask the front desk, we'll print them out. We're just not automatically gonna give them out. Yes?
Can you put the amount of time that somebody's lived here on the app? Because that's one of the things in the directory was nice. You could find out if somebody's been here 10 years or 12 years or 2 years. Why do you want to know?
Residents can do it.
Because I find it interesting information. So if you're not gonna do it anymore, I won't know if somebody's.
Did we ever do it?
Not on the app.
We didn't do it on the app.
They can do it on their own, but
The
look
residents
at
can
it.
put it in?
Yeah,
Okay.
we can look at it.
We can look at it. Okay. We're also gonna have a marketing open house at the beginning of June, so we'll put that out there. I believe it's the first Sunday in June. Is anyone from marketing here? I think it's the first Sunday in June, so we do this about once a year. It's actually gonna be a marketing event similar to last year. They did all the Eddy senior living on the same day. And it will be, we don't know how many people will come, and we did get a lot of traffic last year. We may be tapping into people if you're open to showing your apartment, because luckily we don't have that many vacant apartments, so that's a good thing. Linda, did you have the date?
It is, it's the second Sunday.
The second Sunday.
June 1st is the first Sunday.
Okay, so it would be June 8th?
Yes.
June 8th, okay. So we'll be putting out more information, and marketing may be touching base with you on that as well. the water detention inspection, so we did have,
they came out
What?
they came out last Friday, and I will have the full results this week.
so they did, we are required to inspect those areas, so the water, detention inspections do include the pond. And they also, there's 5 of them total on campus, the areas that need to be inspected, per the town. And, we're just waiting for his report, which will include anything we need to do
Anything that we need,
to
yeah.
maintain those areas.
He'll give the full report on what we have to do to maintain them, if they need anything, and it not just comes to us, it goes to the town.
Okay. We have continued to work on the generator issue. So the first priority for the generators was to get the terrace fully generated, which we're good with. Everything's been ordered. It's just a matter of getting it in and installing it. The next piece would be to provide some generators to the cottages. So we've been working on that, getting various quotes, and I think we came up with a pretty decent proposal that we're gonna put forth. Yeah, so we've been just looking at different things, and there's some different nuances that come up with each one. And for example, one of them would have been if we put a generator for each living unit, which would have been 12 different machines, then we would have had to get a noise ordinance from the town of Bethlehem, because it would be if 12 of them were running. So just, once you start peeling the onion. So anyway, I think we've done a very deep dive and educated, so we're putting that forward and hopefully moving forward with that, but I'll keep you updated. Dryer vents, ongoing?
Dryer vents are ongoing. It's supposed to start the cottages are done. The terrace is done. This building is gonna start the last week of April. So guys will be coming around they'll be going from the outside in and the inside out. So they'll be doing from both ways, and they'll be coming around to the apartments to hit them.
Cottages aren't done, not inside.
Cottages, Mike went around and did both. He did the insides and out.
No, he only did outside.
He told me he went in, he took the dryer vents off, and he blew them, because he blows them out. All right, I'll talk to him. Because that was done by Mike. And his orders are, is he comes into your back, he disconnects the pipe, and he actually blows them out. And then he runs this thing through.
He just did the outside. He didn't do them at the same time, and it does not look as if they were done inside.
All right, because he did them all the one day in 2 days.
We'll check the inside.
All right.
Okay. Also, there's been a request for a new bike rack, so we're looking at buying a new bike rack that I believe will plan on putting next to the garages. It'll be a covered bike rack, because right now we really can only store one, basically, the way it functions, so.
They'll be located by the blue spruce by this end of the garages, on that grass circle.
So that's the plan for that. Those were the updates that audio visual, you will see the screen does not go up. So we are having an electrician come in Friday to fix that, and that's why there's no tiles there either. And then cable box replaced, Kathy, what was that?
We're working on that, so the TV is down as well. Right now,
Okay.
they shut our system off.
Okay, so the TV's down as well, and that's something Friday to be addressed, or we don't know?
I'm working with
Okay.
Spectrum.
Kathy's been on the phone with Spectrum, I think, most of the day. All right, and that's all the announcements I have. Does anybody have anything? Yes?
There's a non-working water fountain on the second floor.
I saw that, yep.
Yeah, it's been non-working for months.
Okay.
Is it going to be replaced, fixed, what?
So the question is, if you can't hear, the water fountain on the second floor is out of order.
It's out of order. It's broken. I guess it's been broken for a long time.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We've got to address whether we're going to put a new one in or what we're going to do with it. Because we had them shut off during COVID, and then when they rehooked it up, it didn't work again.
But I find the one on the first floor quite handy. So I don't know.
Are we finding people are do you guys use the water fountains?
Yeah.
Yes.
See, the first report I got was that nobody really wanted to use it, so.
Refillable.
Well,
Yeah.
I would, because I use it, I go downstairs.
Then I'll put an estimate in to get it
So we
fixed
can look
and
at
replaced.
replacing it then. So it would be replacement or removal, so it sounds like replacement is what's wanted. Okay. Okay. Yes.
On that same topic, could you consider that as those individual water fountains break, could you cost the replacement with the ones like we have right outside?
That's what I was
So we
thinking.
can do the water battle?
Yes. So, if you couldn't hear it was, can we replace it with one that you can refill a water bottle? And that's exactly what I was thinking with replacement. Would probably be better, because those are probably very old. They probably came with the building, I'm assuming.
Most new fountains that you buy are the bottle filler ones.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of the way they went, and those are the ones that have filters. So like the current ones that don't, they're not filtered.
Yeah, the water
Where the
tasted
new ones
bad,
have the
but water
filters.
here tasted bad, so yeah, they weren't very good.
Okay.
But that would probably be less expensive.
And they're, actually, I think because it's common and they're being sold a lot, the price is actually probably cheaper for the filter, the ones with the bottle fillers than the other ones.
With a bottle, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because everybody's replacing all their,
It's easier, yeah.
Yeah.
it's the maintenance that goes up.
Joke, huh?
I have a joke. I'm ready. I had a question.
Just going back to the generators,
Yeah.
what's the status of the generators in this building?
So that's part 3. Like I said, terrace was first, then I'm looking at the cottages, so then we're looking to upgrade what we have here and to see what we can do. So that'll be the next part, to try and get some quotes on that, because part of the problem that we have is because of the electric baseboard heat is very it's hard to generate that, the amount of electricity that it draws, but so that's the next, that would be the last phase, but yes, still on the list, but next. All right, are we ready for a joke? Okay. So I figured with Easter coming, this joke's about God's perfection. So a little girl was sitting in her grandfather's lap as he was reading her a bedtime story. From time to time, she would take her eyes off the book and reach up and touch his wrinkled cheek, and she finally spoke up and said, Grandpa, did God make you? Yes, sweetheart, God made me a long time ago. Grandpa, did God, and then she said to her grandma, did God make you too? Yes, indeed, God made me a little while ago. And then she asked, Grandpa, did God make me too? And he said, yes, indeed, but not that long ago, he made you. Feeling their respective faces again, she observed, God's getting better at this, isn't he? Thank you.